10 things you should know about ADUs in Los Angeles. Whatever you call them, accessory dwelling unit, ADUs, guest house, they have opened the door to making owning a property more reasonable with possible additional income, and have helped boost affordable housing that the city of Los Angeles so sorely needs. Here are 10 facts regarding ADUs in Los Angeles. 1. A law that allows new units to be built on sites with single-family homes and allows garages to be converted into ADUs was enacted to create additional affordable housing in California. 2. They cannot be built beneath power lines. You read that correctly. Statewide rules require new buildings to be 5 to 6 horizontal feet away from a power line's aerial course so that if the line breaks, it does not fall on top of a structure. Because power lines run through your existing garage, converting it to an ADUs is unlikely to be approved, unless you move your garage. If the cable were to ever break, there would be 5,000 volts of power coursing through the structure. 3. ADUs and the homeless problem in Los Angeles. The initiative, which is set to begin in 2019, would provide homeowners with between $10,000 and $30,000 toward construction and permit expenses if the homeowner agrees to let the units be utilized to keep people off the streets for 3 to 5 years. The money would be given to homeowners in the form of tax credits or reduced permitting fees. 4. ADUs can be classified into 3 types. Detached. The unit is separated from the main structure. Attached. The unit is connected to the principal structure. Repurposed existing. A space within a primary residence that has been transformed into a self-contained residential apartment. 5. ADUs limits. They can't be more than 1,200 square feet, can't be in the front of a house, and can't be more than 50% larger than the main house. 6. Each unit or bedroom needs 1 parking place. Parking. Probably the most drastic change has been to the parking requirement. Whereas previously the city required off-street covered parking, garage, carport, for both the existing home and any new living structure proposed, the guideline now allows the main house parking to be uncovered, i.e. the driveway, and 0 parking for the additional unit, as long as it's near transit. 7. Rent control. ADUs are considered single-family dwelling units in Los Angeles. As a result, they are not covered by the RSO under existing law, Rent Stabilization Ordinance. 8. Setbacks requirements. For an existing garage converted to an ADUs, no setbacks should be necessary. ADUs built atop a garage must have a setback of no more than 5 feet from the lot lines on the side and back. 9. ADUs make a fantastic Airbnb, most likely not. ADUs for which a building application was submitted on or after January 2017 cannot be rented out as a home share in Los Angeles, under the new short-term rental law unless the resident can establish the ADUs as their primary home. 10. ADUs cost. A decent ballpark figure for building an ADUs in an existing garage is $75,000 to $145,000. Standards and requirements for development. ADUs, JADUs, and MTHs are permitted in any zone where residential use is permitted by right. Parking for a newly constructed ADUs is not required if it is within a half-mile walking distance of public transportation. When covered parking is removed in conjunction with the building of the ADUs, no replacement parking is required. All applicable zoning, building, and residential codes must be followed by ADUs. If they are not necessary for the primary dwelling, fire sprinklers are not required. For freshly built, detached ADUs, solar panels will be required. Questions regarding ADUs. If a garage is converted into a junior accessory dwelling unit, JADUs, do you need to provide replacement parking? Replacement parking is not required for a garage converted into a JADUs. If a portion of a single-family dwelling is converted into a JADUs, do I need a separate address for the JADUs? Public Works, Bureau of Engineering will determine if the JADUs requires a new address. It's also worth noting that ADUs don't require any discretionary clearance, which means you don't need permission from the city planning department, neighbors, planning boards, or anybody else as long as you follow the stated rules. As a result, obtaining the right to construct an extra dwelling unit is as simple as submitting plans to the building department and going through the plan check process to acquire a building permit. What types of ADUs are available? Building a new apartment in the backyard or converting an existing garage to an ADUs are the two basic possibilities. Because the fundamental structure already exists, a garage conversion is the most cost-effective alternative. The disadvantage is that typical two-car garages are just 300 to 400 square feet in size. This is still enough room for a studio or tiny one-bedroom flat with a kitchen and a bathroom. You could also build an extension to your garage and convert the entire space to an ADUs, which is a more cost-effective method to create a larger ADUs with 600 to 800 square feet and 2 bedrooms. A new ADUs, on the other hand, can take numerous forms. It might be attached to an existing home, attached to a garage in the back of the land, or fully detached. It is usually 1 or 2 stories tall, with a maximum height of 16 feet or 25. Depending on location, it must be located in the backyard or side yard, not in front of the existing house. A new detached accessory unit is limited to 1,200 square foot, whereas an extension attached to an existing home is limited to the lesser of 1,200 square foot or 50% of the current home size. A 400 to 600 square foot ADUs is excellent for a one-bedroom floor plan, while a 600-1,200 square foot structure can be 1 or 2 floors, with up to 3 bedrooms and several baths. The City of Los Angeles has allowed ADUs on most residentially zoned lots, regardless of size, as long as the structure meets the basic restrictions and there is an existing home on the property, with only minor exceptions, which means that most LA homeowners have the option of adding an ADUs to their property. In terms of parking, an ADUs is free from any parking restrictions if it is located within 1/2 mile of a public transportation station, bus stop, etc. ADUs are also permitted on multifamily properties including duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and apartment complexes. These properties often have varied ADUs construction guidelines, but they also have the opportunity to develop multiple ADUs on a single property. When converting an existing garage into an ADUs, 2 spots must be kept for the current dwelling. However, these can be uncovered spots on a driveway that can be side by side or even tandem. A new ancillary dwelling unit must be at least 10 feet distant from the existing house and garage or be attached to either. A new unit must also be at least 4 feet from the rear and side property lines. Garage conversion into dwelling space, on the other hand, is exempt from these setback rules. What is the cost of an ADUs? The cost of an auxiliary housing unit will vary substantially depending on the options and size you select. As previously stated, converting an existing detached garage is the most cost-effective choice. Because the major components are already in place, the construction entails items such as constructing the fourth wall, where the garage door is currently located, adding interior components such as interior walls, a kitchen, bathroom, flooring, and so on, adding windows and doors, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, insulation, and a new sewer line that will most likely connect to the sewer lateral at the front of the main house. Depending on the homeowner's needs, the cost of an ADU's garage conversion might range between $80,000 and $120,000. The cost of constructing a new auxiliary dwelling unit can also vary significantly depending on size, the number of stories, location, access, and so on, but will often range from $100,000 to $400,000. A good starting point is to estimate $250 to $400 per square foot. The larger the room, the cheaper the cost per square foot. If you plan on building up for a 2-story ADUs, your prices will skyrocket. How much does a prefabricated ADUs cost? Prefab or modular ADUs have recently received a lot of interest. The majority of these homes are built in a factory, brought to your location, and assembled on site. Several new companies have emerged to construct these prefab ADUs, which often come in a variety of floor plans and design options. Some are quite high-end and pricey, and others are intended to be entry-level. Prefab ADUs offer certain benefits and drawbacks over regular ADUs built on-site by general contractors. In terms of pricing, they may appear to be less expensive than traditionally built ADUs at first glance, but it is critical for consumers to consider all costs, not just the unit, such as taxes, shipping, craning, assembly, installation, permitting, utility connections, and foundations. How long does it take to build an ADUs? As you might expect, the timing of a garage conversion differs from that of a new construction project. You can expect the complete procedure for a garage conversion to take 3 to 6 months, which includes the time it takes to develop the architectural plans, wait for the city to perform plan check, and ultimately, the building phase, which will take around 2 to 3 months. A new accessory housing unit will require a longer building procedure and will take longer for city plan check, so expect the total process to take 6 to 9 months, with the construction phase lasting 3 to 6 months. If you already have an unpermitted ADUs or garage conversion, now is an excellent opportunity to obtain the necessary permits and construction to bring this facility up to code and legally. When you finish this work, the city will issue you a certificate of occupancy for your ADUs, making the space legal to rent and increasing the value of your property when you sell it. The process will be similar to that described above, but you will most likely need to do far less construction to legalize an ADUs or garage conversion. Therefore, the time frame will be shorter. Do I connect the ADUs utilities to the main house? It depends on the city in which you live. In Los Angeles, your water and sewer lines must be connected directly to the water meter and the main sewer lateral. Connections to utilities. ADUs are not required to have separate utility connections from the primary residence. ADUs in areas where a private sewage disposal system is utilized must be approved by the local health officer. ADUs must adhere to all applicable building and residential codes for the proposed use. In accordance with applicable codes, movable tiny houses must be connected to water, sewer, and electric facilities. In Los Angeles, how are utilities connected to an ADUs? Utilities are usually connected to the utilities of the major main residence, so we don't need to bring in additional connections from the street. This represents a significant cost reduction for the homeowner, as opening up the street to connect would add thousands of dollars to the project. If I have DWP power lines at the back of my property, where can I build an ADUs? A new ancillary dwelling unit or garage conversion that is more than 10 feet distant from the power lines is permitted. ADUs that are within 10 feet of power lines must apply for a DWP encroachment permission. Current processing time is 3 to 4 months. A garage that is currently connected to the power grid cannot be converted to an ADUs. What are ADUs property setbacks? New state legislation in 2020 reduced side and rear yard setbacks to 4 feet from the side and rear property lines, making it easier for most homeowners to put an ADUs in their yard. Can I have more than one ADUs built on my property? In many circumstances, a junior ADUs of up to 500 square feet can be built within the walls of your principal residence, and it may be permissible to construct 2 ADUs on multiple lands. Can I put solar panels on my ADUs? Yes. Roof-mounted solar panels are needed for any new building of site-built residences or ADUs. However, while constructing prefabricated ADUs, we can adhere to federal building HUD regulation, which does not require the installation of solar panels. What you should know about unpermitted garage conversions in Los Angeles. It should come as no surprise that there are several unpermitted garage conversions in Los Angeles. Because property values are so high, individuals have been taking advantage of their excess garage space for quite some time without obtaining the necessary permissions. There are numerous types and applications for Los Angeles garage conversions. Some homeowners have converted their garages into recording studios or fitness centers. Others have built an office, man cave, rec area, or she shed, frequently with a restroom. Of course, some people have converted their garage into a full accessory dwelling unit, dwelling space, complete with a bathroom and kitchen, and so on. These are used to house family members or as rental properties. Many of these illegal garage conversions were built in Los Angeles and nearby areas without the appropriate permits, and now many of these homeowners are considering legalizing their apartments. Now that new ADUs rules go into effect on January 1, 2020, the state and city are urging people to legalize their unpermitted garage conversions in Los Angeles, and have provided a 5-year grace period to do so without incurring any fines, etc. As a result, people are beginning to recognize that it is more cost-effective to legalize their unit rather than continue to hide their unpermitted garage space. Unlike unpermitted space, Illegal ADUs can be rented to a tenant and plainly adds value to the property at the time of sale. There is some very positive news regarding the legalization of unpermitted garage conversions in Los Angeles. In most circumstances, the garage itself is eligible for conversion into an ADUs. Assuming your garage was originally approved, you should be able to convert it into an ADUs for detached garage, and junior ADUs or JADUs for an attached garage. Even if your garage does not match current setback requirements from the property line, it should be grandfathered in. Create a set of plans. The City of Los Angeles requires you to create a set of drawings for your garage conversion. These designs are designed to demonstrate that your garage conversion complies with current building rules and norms. As a result, the plans will incorporate structural and framing details, windows and walls, energy efficiency, Title 24, and other notes. An architect will measure your area and design these blueprints with the assistance of a structural engineer, if necessary. This is the plan that will be presented to the city building department in order to obtain a permit. These plans should cost between $4,000 and $10,000. This task can also be assisted by an ADUs contractor. Submit your plans. Submit your ideas. When you have a rough budget and a set of plans, the following step is to submit them to the city building department. You should be able to begin in less than 60 days. While your designs are being reviewed, you may give them, as well as any other scope of work you wish to include, to various garage conversion contractors so they can provide precise cost quotes for you. You're ready to begin building once you've chosen the best garage conversion contractor and signed a contract. Start building your Los Angeles garage conversion. Your ADUs contractor will request an initial city inspection at the start of construction. The city inspector will want to check how your unpermitted garage conversion compares to your plans and current code, so you may want to ask the contractor to remove some drywall to get a better view of the walls. He'll be checking for flaws in the framing, electrical, plumbing, and insulation, among other things. He could also want to inspect how deep your foundation footings are. Based on what he or she observes, the inspector will offer a list of corrections that your contractor must undertake in order to proceed. As previously noted, these unknowns could be trivial or large, depending on the initial construction. The costs can vary greatly depending on the ADU's current condition and quality. To give you an idea, a brand new garage conversion to ADUs in Los Angeles costs between $80,000 to $120,000. This figure includes everything required to convert a conventional garage into a dwelling: kitchen, bathroom, appliances, walls, windows, flooring, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, structural construction, and so on. When it comes to legalizing a garage conversion, it's assumed that some of this work has already been accomplished and can be spared. So, depending on the scope of the work required, the construction expenses of legalizing this site will most likely vary between $45,000 and $100,000. Fire safety. The ADUs shall not require fire sprinklers unless they are already installed in the primary dwelling or the property is located in a special fire or hillside overlay, in which case, they may be required. 1. Smoke detectors shall be provided in each sleeping room, on the ceiling or wall immediately outside of each sleeping room, and on each story and basement for dwellings with more than one story. 3. Carbon monoxide alarm is required. 4. Sprinkler system shall be required for the ADUs if the existing dwelling has a sprinkler system. 5. The power source for smoke detectors shall be as follows. In new construction, smoke detectors shall receive their primary power from the building wiring and shall be equipped with a battery backup. In existing SFD, smoke detectors may be battery operated. An ADUs is not permitted on a lot that is located in both a very high fire hazard severity zone and hillside area. Movable tiny houses are not required to have sprinklers but shall follow the ANSI A119.5 or NFPA 1192 standards relating to health, fire, and life safety. Shape, materials, and style. The ADUs must be visually consistent with the primary residence as well as the neighboring community. This usually means that the exterior colors, materials, roof pitch, and massing of the ADUs should be similar to those of the main house. Thank you for taking the time to view our video instruction on how to construct an accessory dwelling unit in Southern California. We at Metro Ecom, Inc. are a licensed general contractor who enjoys assisting homeowners with the construction of ADUs on their property. Please do not hesitate to contact us at www.metroecom.com or metrocompany@gmail.com if you have any questions or require assistance. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video.